All the Tomb King's single entity constructs got buffed other than the Bone Giant, which is fine because the Bone Giant was fine. Pigman today going to be taking 2 Kemrian War Sphinxes here, who I think got collision attacks, which is just fantastic. Kemrian War Sphinxes have been the best probably for a long time, arguably, in melee construct. Most of them weren't great, but let's see how the changes have shaken out. I know the Aero Titan got some buffs, Necro Sphinx got some buffs. Even the Tomb Scorpion picked up poison, which is pretty big. Its weapon strength increases, but yeah, the Kemrian War Sphinx, I believe they increased the missile damage of the guys on the back too, so that's, again, a thing. All that will increase their DPS, should at least. Got some Shabti here, 4 of them. Line of Nehekara warriors, so no missile attacks, no nothing, just right in with the rush, almost playing like a Chaos faction here. Into some Kislev, we've got an Ice Switch forward here, some Dervishes in the vanguard, a couple of Little Groms, so some single entity poke for sure. Kossars, Kislev Halberds mixed in, a single unit of Bear Cav, the Oath Brothers, Dervishes, yeah. Interesting build composition. No, Winged Lancers, or especially no Griffin Legion, who are quite in vogue right now. But definitely decent with the Kislev Warriors. They should trade just fine here. Armored Kossars also. If they get directly charged by a Shabti without getting too much shots off first, they will struggle for sure. But right now, Little Grom's not really worrying too much about the War Sphinx. Looks like they're poking Cetra more, but Pigman doing his best to try and dodge shots. Is having to split up his micro a little bit now as his forces get close to impacting in melee here. Was the Shabti going to start to eat some shots from the Armored Kossars, but not any reaction here from Race, who is playing Kislev, of course. Well, there's the reaction. Cavalry charging in, Oath Brothers immediately just gonna massacre this one unit, but of course they can only be in one place at a time, so let's see what's happening across the line. Shabti getting in here, getting countercharged also by just Dervishes, but still Skeleton Spears following up there should be able to help. And Nehekara Warriors also charging in. Yeah, this is ideal with Shabti unmatched onto Armored Kossars. Just get in there and do some really nice DPS. Wow, we've got the Kemrian War Sphinxes over here. Let's watch them in melee, as something is absolutely wrecking these Oath Brothers. Looks like they've been blinded by the Blessed Blade of Petra from Cetra. He also pops Incantation of Curse Blades on something here to give it anti-large, I think. But anyway, yeah, Nehekara Warriors actually 42 weapon strength and anti-large and anti-infantry. They're just absolutely massacring everything in that pocket. Really nice synergy buff there. Admire the blob. Get the banners off and then pick them back up and see what's actually happening. So both the War Sphinx is doing just fine. Shabti also taking a lot of the damage here, but Incantation Protection, it helped them out. Cetra also took a decent amount of damage, but he can heal through just spamming the cheap spells and that Restless Dead passive a little bit. Still does not want to be taking those shots from those Little Groms, so gonna have to be careful. A little Death Frost too to just try and finish it off from the Ice Switch. So Kislev definitely punching back hard here despite early gains. Tomb King's facing down the balanced power a little bit. Cetra's going to get in there with his halberd, anti-large on his horse. Should be able to put a beat down on the Ice Switch, and one Kemrian War Sphinx caught one Little Grom, so now there's just the other one to worry about there in the distance, which is currently dealing with Shabti. Got a nice critical hit there, finished the job. The other War Sphinx also was trying to chase off the Oath Brothers, now gets singled out in a very dangerous position. But Cetra using that extra physical resistance, 80 armor is a decent amount, but still 40 charge bonus on those Dervishes could do some damage to him. So a lot of value over on this far side here. Tomb Kings are pushing on the other side, though. They're winning out largely, and the Shabti are cleaning up where they weren't opposed by these elite units. So they should be able to roll back over and give some support as long as Cetra and the Sphinxes can hold out. The one Sphinx is getting quite low at this point, having been worn down by various Kislev units. Especially just the regular Kislev Warriors, honestly, in a big blob fight like this with Cav to support them will do great, but the one War Sphinx just kind of nope out there, like, nah, I don't want to be a part of this. Just kidding, let's charge back in, a nice little cycle charge. They do have 64 charge bonus, these War Sphinxes do, so you definitely do want to be cycle charging them as much as you can. Charge animations are also quite nice and good. One of the things that makes them so strong, a little bit of physical resistance. For Cetra, you see a little bit of trickle heal he gets there, it's really not much. Every single tick of HP matters in a game like this that's proven to be quite the barn burner. Cetra moving over to melee support though, getting these Ushabti and Skeleton Spears, trying to protect himself from the dervishes. One more Sphinx too, getting pretty low, but they're tough to finish off, especially when Kislev doesn't have a lot of resources for doing so. And again, their animations, fantastic. Collision damage now. And I think they actually have their splash attack targets lowered. With the collision damage, overall, it's definitely a buff. Means they actually are much better against cavalry now, at least ideally. But anyway, yeah, both surviving now, getting some good damage on that little Grom. And Tomb King is kind of pressing on all fronts now. I think Cetra did eventually succumb to crumbling, which is fine. Leadership of the Tomb King still holding, regardless. Ice Switch there, taking a few hits. It seems like the attack animation range on the Camarine War Sphinxes are really long, potentially. But yeah, I mean, the stats overall, you might not think are amazing, but definitely the charge bonus and just animations overall. Especially collision damage, that's with that added in. It's another great kind of hidden modifier that makes a monster much better. One Sphinx finally falls here, but not without accruing a massive amount of value. The other Sphinx here moving in to finish off the little Grom. The rest of the Tomb King horde of skeletons and Ushabti in the distance just moves in inevitably. Sphinx is trying its best to finish off whatever high-value units it can in the meantime, but there's army losses. Buyer Blood will trigger for a few units. And that will be game for the Tomb Kings. Spectacular game. Big thanks to Pigman for sending that one in. Definitely a lot of fun. War Sphinxes seem like they're better for sure. I'll have to play around with some of the other Tomb Kings constructs, see how they play. But overall, good to see Creative Assembly listening to feedback and buffing one aspect of the Tomb Kings that was kind of a very iconic aspect that was very underrepresented in multiplayer just because it wasn't very good. But now much better. Ushabti, of course, were always pretty decent. Monstrous Infantry is definitely much better in ultra unit sizes, it feels like, just overall. And yeah, they do shine in many matchups. Here, they definitely were able to shine alongside the War Sphinxes, which average out their value, more than paid for themselves. Just a spectacular performance from them. Race side here. Yeah, overall, pretty decent value spread around Kislev. The Little Groms can be tough out for Tomb Kings. Them versus Bone Giants, kind of an interesting matchup, actually. I think Little Groms probably take that. I'm not sure, though. I haven't tried it myself. Maybe some of you guys can comment. Let me know if you've had some shootouts between these two factions. Maybe I have actually tried it before. Probably RNG based, but anyway. Yeah, Tomb Kings definitely feel like they've got a little bit more melee potential, certainly, with the changes to some of the constructs. Just to quickly go through it again one more time, because I really haven't talked. I mean, 5.1 was such a huge patch. There's so many things that I actually haven't covered that much. Also haven't had that much time to play game myself this summer, but that's another topic for another day. Yeah, Tomb Scorpions picked up poison, over 400 weapon strength now as well, so they can be a little bit more functional. The archers' damage was buffed for the War Sphinx, and they get collision damage. Harrow Titan got the the weapon strength buffed, I believe, and also has more uses of its mound spells. And then I believe the Necro Sphinx also, yeah, just got a hard weapon strength buff up above 600. Definitely can compete now with those world beater class of monsters. Should do some testing and see if that's actually true, but it definitely seems more promising on paper. So let's hope for the best. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.